Okay, good afternoon to all the brothers and sisters of Dhamma. Before we start our next lecture, we have to run down to our last session. Okay. In this year 4, almost all the topic in the Dhamma are important, and all the topic been tested on every exam. So Nama Rupa, body and mind, Salayatana, the 6 bases, Pasa, contact, Vijnana, feeling, Tanha, craving, Upadana, clinging, Bhava, becoming, Jati is birth, then Jara is decay, and Maranam is death. And this traveling start the whole cycle again. So you need to understand all this traveling among each other. So they will not test you every traveling. They will test you every causation or the link between each to the other. Like our sister Lei Hun will do the presentation later. So please go and learn it. And then they can test you whatever they want to set. Okay. So that's to recap the last session we covered. Everybody able to see the slide? Today, this afternoon, we'll cover this particular chapter, Tilakkhaṇa. I think most of you attend Dhamma talk or earlier in the courses, you may come encounter to this this term Tilakkhaṇa, the 3 term inside it. So we will cover each term one by one with full understanding. Okay, this one, every year they will set a question on here. So whichever way they come out, you need to know them well, the 3 term. Okay. So Tilakkhaṇa, in the way, is called the 3 characteristic of existence. Okay. In Buddha, this in-depth teaching, this is a very important component of explaining of what is suffering, what is human undergoing through, and this state after state. Okay, so we need to know all this term very well. It's one of the important doctrine among all the Buddhist doctrine. It's one of the several doctrine formulated by the Lord Buddha. So, and it's also the central theme to Buddhist way of life. Everything Buddha explained about Buddhist sort of cause and effect will be among all these 3 terms will come together. It is also known as the 3 Sinatta, or what you call the 3 signage. Okay, so this is a English term they use to explain. In Pali Tilakkhaṇa, so all this you must know well, whether English one or the Pali term. So basically, in this doctrine, we need to understand fully what is impermanent, and nothing is fixed. And after impermanent, we have this unsatisfactoriness which come after. So this is interrelated to each other. And then insubstantiality, that nothing can be so-called, it's still changing. It's a kind of changing phenomena. Nothing can stand by itself. So whatever other religions say about eternal, you join the Lord, this eternal. For Buddhism, no such thing. Everything constantly changing. Even you are lucky to be born in the heavenly realm, it's the thing that is impermanent also. It's insubstantial. Come to a time, there's a lifespan there, you need to come back. Unlucky, you come back to the human world. If lucky, you can practice, go further up. Okay? So even the Buddha said, you are in the 30 round existence, nothing is satisfactory. So you need to go out to Nibbana. Nibbana down there is no more of these three things happening to you. So in essay question, they always quote all this from the Sutta, Anguttara Nikaya. This is a quotation from our Buddha. Buddha said, whether perfect one, I mean, whether the Buddha or past Buddha appear in the world, or whether the perfect one do not appear in the world. That means say, whether Buddha exists in this world or not exists in this world, this is what I call Mother Nature law. It still remains a firm condition. That means it's a fixed condition. That means you will never make any changes. It's a fixed condition as an immutable fact. That means this fact cannot be changed. Immutable cannot be changed. And it's a fixed law. It's a permanent law. Okay. And that all formation, all the things that are created, that are developed and whatever state, okay, are impermanent. Okay. Okay, let's say the plastic, you have keeping, your people have keep those plastic supposed to be very stable, right? Very solid, right? But you will come a time over a matter of time and deterioration by the element of the weather and environment. The plastic, one fine day, start cracking. You see this thing all impermanent. So that even the rock is impermanent. So nothing can be said permanent. That's why other religion trying to make human to attract them to their faith or whatever religion, that they are the only one that can make things permanent. That's why we Buddhists they say your fated are all suffering one. That all formation are subject to suffering. So whatever thing that is can be broken down, and then suffering will follow. And that everything is without self. Okay? There is no such thing as self. Self means, in other religion, means soul. So in Buddhism, there is no soul. We have consciousness. Okay? We have this consciousness, the living one will continue the continuum of this consciousness that will carry us life after life. When you're living, this continuum will carry on. But the moment the chuti, when your productive karma is getting weak, then this chuti, on the moment they decided, you cut off. And then this chuti cut off, it will turn itself into this rebirth consciousness. These people will not able to understand this so-called rebirth consciousness and consider it as a self. I mean a soul. Okay, something that will carry on to the next life. So many religions say that this soul is permanent and then it's given by God. Okay, so this thing will continue and continue. Okay, so even when it come to another existence, the soul to them is permanent one. So this is very hard for us to especially argue with those other religions. They accept soul, that they were not able to accept what you call consciousness or that sort of stuff. Okay, so better don't argue with them. We learn it for our own wisdom. We learn it for our own salvation. This is an English word they always hear. 3 characteristics of existence. It's a concept form that essential and fundamental basis toward the understanding of our spiritual salvation. So Buddha, in a way, explain suffering and also explain how to get out from this suffering towards Nibbana. So he has used this term, very unique way of explaining and make us clearly understand the term. It exists with or without existence of the phenomenal world. According to Buddha, this thing is not his creation. It's the creation of Mother Nature. It happened down there, and Buddha discovered it. And then he has seen through it, which many of the other religions not able to have this kind of vision or kind of breakthrough to understand this kind of so-called phenomenal changes. So to them, they are hard to convince, especially with other religions that are embedded with all their kind of so-called faith on those kind of concepts, which is totally different from our Buddhism, are currently functioning and will continue to operate after the dissolution of phenomenal world. Okay, let's say this earth will disappear. Let's say we can't even see it today, but one fine day this earth will disintegrated. And then the whole thing, it will happen into another planet. It will happen when another new planet is created. Okay, so this thing is of Mother Nature that it will come and it will follow the same pattern again. We cannot deny that. It's some sort of like science. Okay, science explanation is very close to Buddhism, except that science cannot accept Buddhism because they cannot use instrument to measure it. So they say anything that cannot be measured by instrument to guarantee to see the result is very hard for them to accept. That's why Buddhism is some sort of like science, but beyond science. Okay, it is so-called kind of fantastic thing that is beyond science too. Because science, everything need thing to measure and need things to confirm. So this law by themselves operate independent of any sort of other forces. Okay, so these three factors happening, and it's happening not by any force of let's say Buddha and nothing to do with Buddha, and also nothing to do with God. Okay, God is also subject to this kind of changes. So there's nothing that can hold back. So there's not even God can stop it. So the God are of their own mercy also up to their own karma too. So all these are independent of anything. It's some Mother Nature kind of laws. It's happened with or without Buddha around. So the realization experience of their nature are stepping stone to aid the aspirant in the Buddhist path. So this three term is basically for our sort of nature of exploring and then understanding fully in-depth study of Buddhist nature, all these things which other religion cannot accept it. So these are things, if you understand them, then when you practice Buddhist path, then you start to understand bit by bit and understand how one after another are linked to each other, and these things are of the thing that will happen, whatever, you can't stop them. Okay, so this is a sort of nature, these three terms interrelated to each other. Through them, the awareness of one place within the scheme of life is fully appreciated and understood. So if you are practicing Buddhist, you understand these three terms well, then we know that our life on the earth is a short span. Like me, last time I was a young boy, never think of this thing because this thing never encountered to me. But as you learn in your older age, wow, time is so fast that when you learn it, you understand it, then you know that you have wasted a lot of time. And we can study all the material thing to accumulate wealth, to make us a good living. But these are secondary important. Important is our life existence. What is life existence? You have to ask yourself. So life existence, with the study of Buddhism, we start appreciating that our span of life here is totally can count. Like me myself, I got not many 10 years left. And now 10 years, I don't know, I'm still around. No? So life is constantly changing. You don't know when is your last day. Okay. So by learning this, you will appreciate your life, daily life fully. and you understood that this impermanent is coming upon you every day. Okay, today I may be well, tomorrow I not may be well. So as you go aging, you also understand this impermanent is also happening to your rupa, your body. So this subject to change that as you get older, all your organs, all your limbs start to deteriorate. How much deteriorate? You need to understand it. So you need to take care of it as when you get older. Cannot get fall. You get fall, you're broken your limbs. So these are things when you get older, you should have more wisdom on that, understanding you cannot perform as a 18-year-old kid. Okay, so that is all we need to understand about Buddhism path, about ourselves. So first term, anicca. Most of you should know now and now. Anicca. Anicca means impermanent. And nothing is, it remain solid or remain without change. So anicca, Buddha taught this thing. Many of the other religions condemn because they don't like this term, because when things constantly change, people not happy. This not happy will cause suffering. So people get, especially other religions, they condemn us because we talk about anicca. So the first condition of Tilakkhaṇa and other two characteristics of dukkha and anatta rest upon the doctrine of impermanence. So this is a mother nature law that everything subject to change at every moment. So we are living to a flux of life. If you have studied or come across this particular text, Visuddhimagga, especially when those have high aspiration to practice higher sort of meditation, you need this Visuddhimagga to help you with your understanding so you can break through, especially when you practice the Vipassana meditation. So it's a very good book. If you are those keen meditator, by hook, by crook, please go and find it and read it for your own self. Also good for your Buddhist study. Visuddhimagga stated that impermanence of things is the rising, passing, and changing of things, or the disappearance of things that have become or arisen. Okay, this is a scientific term. Every cell now in our body, every day you're observing, especially those doing in science, every cell grows. A new cell grows every day. That means rising, and then you stabilize, and then passing, and then die off. Okay, so it's constantly, we are not a scientist that we measure this every day, but those doing with especially health, they see this cell is constantly doing this thing. Our cell always replenish every over a period of time. New cell will come out. That's why when you get a wound, new cell will come out and patch back the wound. Unless you have this very severe diabetic, then this cell will not grow. Then you have got problem with your healing. So the meaning that those things never persist in the same way. There is nothing that will stop it. It will happen and it will continue to be on this way. But they are vanishing and dissolving from moment to moment. That's why we can't see ourselves. But if you do study, especially though we're doing a health one, you study, you will get the knowledge of this cell is constantly dying and growing again and growing. So when you say a productive karma means your cell constantly grow and die and grow. If this productive karma start to malfunction or start not to producing cell, to die already cannot produce new one, then we are in trouble. When it comes to the productive cell, productive karma stop producing this cell, then we are in trouble. That means death is not far away from us. Right? So as a person reside inside this physical body, every one of us should know the body well since the day we are birth on this physical body, from early baby till adult. we are much better than doctor. We will know happening in our body, whether it's a time up or is it we are having severe problem or sickness, whatever. So doctor is only do external checking. You yourself residing in this body, you should know very well about your body. So than any other doctor. So especially those cancer one are very sad. I admit in my 师母 all that. Once you get the full blown one, there's no help here. You are waiting for the death sentence to come upon you. So that's why I want to monk say, our body, the kaya, is a curse. That's why we are subject to this impermanent. So whether animate means a live one or inanimate, like table and chair. So table and chair, one fine day, you're sure broken down one. Even if they outlive you, one fine day, this chair over 2 generations, suddenly you'll give way and everything broken down again. And it's exactly like human being. Okay, physical or mental. So for us, we have this the body the body physical one, and then the mental is our memory, all that kind. Those things are also mental are also subject to change. And same thing, if your mental suffer, you get things like dementia, all that sort of thing coming. Okay, like just a recent one, our late Prime Minister daughter, she got this brain disease that broken her down suffer for 4 years, and only on the 10th, she said goodbye to this existence. So even you are a doctor, you also know about yourself. When your body start to breaking down, then you know your days are numbered. So your past, present, or future will decide for you. So organic or inorganic, those living one and non-living one, divine or human, even the God is subject to this. The God will not able to stay in the realm. Promise you there, stay there for eternal. Okay, that's why these other religion, they promise them when you pass away, this soul will join with this Lord and you will be there forever. No more like us. So basically, how you know? Do you certify or anybody come back and tell you? Because all these are conceived by these people who want to attract them to their religion. So very sad. Those people, you explain to them, they will not want to take the word from you. They believe what suppose their guru or their pastor or whatever they say is all true. As you know, human subject to all changes. So when you know this anicca well, you will know that everything in short is transitory. I mean, in a short span only. So this word is very bad, especially for those other religion. They won't hear this word. They say only Buddhists will have anicca, and they are permanent. And then when you write essay, this is Buddhist university classes. You need to know all these particular sutta. Now you come to year 4, you must pay attention to quote all these sutta to help you to reinforce your answer in the essay question. The Tilakkhaṇa Sutta, Majjhima Nikaya, proclaimed this famous formula. I think you all must have heard it somewhere. Sabe anicca. Okay? So when you write essay, you quote this. Sabe anicca. This examiner will be very happy. So it means all conditioned things are impermanent, including the Buddha's final statement before. This is spoken by our Buddha before Buddha final statement before his paridimana. He spoken this in this Tilakkhaṇa Sutta. So these are things will give you extra substance when you're writing essay. Okay, quote of all these, especially sutta. This examiner love all this quotation from you. So I'm trying to explain to you to help you. So if you can put all this stuff in, you're certified as A type of essay, okay? So up to you, okay? If you have the kind of energy and the kind of enthusiasm or the kind of mind, then you learn this. It's also good for you, especially when you doing Dhamma talk, like what my previous late Bante in this Pali college. He's very good in every sutta that he quote from his encyclopedia mind. Okay, he quote every sutta. You explain what's inside this sutta. I mean, if you are good as him, you are a very good speaker. Okay, so as a Buddhist, if you want to be a speaker, you have to have all these sutta embedded in your memory. At any time you need to use, you present it out. Then you're a person of substance. So every situation is condition, and condition means becoming. So this anicca is about condition. At this particular point, this, especially when you come to certain happening, okay, like an accident, you don't choose this route, you choose another route, okay? So on this route, this particular route, because of this condition, this particular route, this will cause you, you're supposed to not meet accident, but because of this condition, then this happening that you meet the accident when you're traveling on this route. So this is all conditioning, means becoming, okay? So all these things, the Chinese tend to use it as 注点, but we Buddhists say as conditioning. So at this conditioning, the time and the place, things will happen, okay? Like the last incident that happened on my this wrist, broken wrist. Because I normally took a bus from my place right to the Bali College there. So walking one bus stop to the Bali College. But because I fear the rain, then I go take an MRT, then I have to walk to this particular junction, and the junction has a slippery slope. And those things make me slip, and as a result, cause my this broken wrist. So you see, this thing I cannot be explained, say, you can miss it or whatever, because you change your mind, you put a particular condition, and then thing will happen. So becoming us never stable and permanent, indicating the state of constant flux and change. That's why our life full of flux and change. Okay, so unlucky, then it will happen because you meet the condition. So the notion surely self-evidence that everything change constantly and sometimes rather unpredictably. This is another thing. It can change and it's unpredictable. Okay? So like me crossing there, suppose not to happen, just slip on the particular road junction there. But this unpredicted thing happened. So this is hard to explain. Though this thing won't happen to you, it will happen. So inward investigation of self reveal that the visual cycle makeup of human is also not permanent. Okay. Beside your body, your mind, all these things are not permanent. They are constantly changing. That's why when we are in good health, everything try to maximize it, use it as quickly as possible before this thing dwindle or diminish. Then you want to study, let's say Buddhist study, no more chance, right? Like you four very lucky. You carry on, then you are still learning it. But for others who given up all these, I don't know, it's a pity for them or they don't have the faith to connect with Buddhism. So it's a learning path. We need to learn. We have constantly learning. I'm also constantly learning. Okay, by teaching you all, I'm also learning. Okay. It constantly becoming changing from previous to a new situation, from a past state to a future state. This is called becoming, from another form to another form. Okay, so this is thing that anicca, you constantly becoming another changing. When you talk about aggregates, we talk about this impermanent. We need to talk about 5 aggregates. I think you all should know by now. Your Abhinama, you will cover most of it. So 5 aggregates, by now you should be able to recall whenever you talk about 5 aggregates. It's mind and matter, okay? So matter means rupa, the body. Then the other mind factor are like feeling, vijnana, perception, sana, and then mental formation, sankhara, and consciousness, vijnana, are non-stable and non-permanent. That's what Buddha discovered, that we human, mind and matter, all these things are impermanent. But to talk to other religions, please don't talk to them about 5 aggregates. They keep belittle us that we are some sort of fatalism. I mean, there's no hope in Buddhism. So whenever I want to argue with them, very, very hard for them to understand, because they have been poisoned in mind. The mind cannot accept new things, only their kind of faith. So it's a non-stable, indicate that the 5 aggregates, hence all in existence, are non-reliable. So when you have these 5 aggregates, you are not so-called subject to change every constantly. Okay. Even in the heavenly realm, without the matter, you have some sort of all this mind one, you are also subject to suffering because this thing always not stable form, is constantly changing. So when you are in the heavenly realm, wherever they are, you also subject to time span. They are all subject to dissolution eventually. So Buddha repeats that everything you are having all these one day will disappear, and you need to change to whatever form you are. Right? So placing hope and faith in them, do not regard them as realities and unwise. Especially modern world, they care about this matter or the body. That's why you see modern people, as long as there's life, this life is more important than. That's why I find that many of the younger generation, they can be the best in education, they have the best job, they can everything. But what they're lacking is spiritual education. Very sad, I tell you, especially our Singaporean here. They have everything. They have degree, they have all the number of C, all they have. But in the end, they have no spiritual education. Very sad. So I hope you all can propagate your Malaysian people less about material accumulation, more, especially the young. You need to educate them with Buddhist education or spiritual education, that life is beyond this matter. It's more than that. Okay. So hope after your 5 years, you're able to propagate on them. Because very sad. Our Singaporean nowadays, almost all of them care is material wealth. Spiritual wealth, zero. Next one, we come to the moral and ethical ramification. So when you have full reliance or full faith upon the stability and permanency of situation, it's unwise, because bitter disappointment follows as soon as the belief in permanency of situation break down. Okay, good example. Especially those Christianity. Okay, they believe that Lord will guard them forever, and by the faith, they will have no harm. So what happened? Let's say the particular family is having faith, then this particular husband. I mean, this is what I call karma. I think it happened. So this man, out of sudden, he was struck with a illness. It's a destructive illness that will make him permanently disabled. And he had to live to a kind of life supporting machine day by day. And it's an expensive thing. And those people have faith in their God. They will believe that this is a test from God. Okay. So these type of people, we can't explain to them because they have faith in their particular religion. They cannot understand this concept that things keep on changing. We even don't know ourselves what will happen us the next moment. So these things subject to change, and then what they always say is a test from God. Okay? So we don't bother about that. Because this is other religion faith. They're holding this very highly on it. Okay? And finally, the man also have to die from the machine because the machine can't support them forever. So when you have this suffering, rejection will move in and can result. That's why when somebody pass away and your loved one, all these things, then your emotions start coming in, become depressive, then emotional changes and psychological state. I mean, all your mental state are all start broken down, and then you are no more living as a proper human being. That you are subject. You cannot accept that this particular person has left, and then you cannot accept that this suffering come upon you that almost that you cannot function without him. So this is called psychological breakdown. Right? That's why as a Buddhist, if your husband and wife, please prepare, anything can happen. Okay? Whether you or your partner can one fine day leave. For example, my Sifu, the Tai Chi one, the wife left him. Now he finding himself in loneliness, living in solitude. No, the kids, well, I mean, don't bother about him or checking upon him or talk with him that he live alone. Beside talking to us, Tai Chi people, he has this called suffering in himself. Because without a partner, living alone is facing this kind of mentality block. Suddenly, let's say for 40, 50 years with a partner, and suddenly you're alone, how you face this world. So these are kind of emotional breakdown when we Buddhists, we need to accept our partner one fine day will leave us, whether you or him earlier or later. Okay. And then you have antisocial behavior and attitudes to develop. So when this mental breakdown, then antisocial things start to bother you. And then your attitudes to others start to change. Thus, because of this, your family members, your friends, and finally society at large are affected. So these are things that it's a human suffering. I mean, in a way, from one, you spread to the rest. Okay. So as a Buddhist practitioner, for myself, every day when you wake up, it's a blessing. So you must say, may I be well and happy, free from all suffering. Because every time you can see the sun, is a blessing. So don't think too much. Okay? It's a blessing you are still alive every morning. Hence the wisdom to recognize the doctrine of impermanent. So when practice this, you must understand every day, impermanent. How long our lifespan is. As part and parcel of life and daily living process is to be encouraged. So we live for a purpose, don't live just for sake of living. Every day you should able to make yourself a better person than yesterday. Right? I hope every one of you learn this. Every day is a happiness, and it's a life for you to learn something, and each day you are better of yourself compared to yesterday. So one needs to consider that everything in truth, nothing more than a collection of ceaseless changing process. So our life is a continuous, as long as we're living, this process of changing keep on in cycle, keep on coming, and then start again. Okay. Uh, uh, can stop 10 minutes. I need my throat dry up again. Okay.